Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. Today here we have John. Tell us what you did over the weekend.
Well, this weekend we had PAX in Australia. With, for those who don't know what PAX is, essentially the biggest gaming convention in Australia. Happens once a year. Equivalent, I guess you'd say, equivalent to Gen Con. Same as Gen Con, right? And we're lucky enough to be able to help out TAC, who hosted all the events this weekend, being the store champs on Friday, teams on Saturday, and then the regionals on Sunday.
Yep.
We're able to help out, get in, and play at all three events. So on the weekend, I was able to get first at the store champion, first with the guys Benny and Peter in teams, and then I got third at the regional on the Sunday, losing to Nooks, who's his deck profile will be on the channel as well.
Yep.
He played really well. And, still lose. I want to get the 3 wins in a row for all the days, but, it is what it is, as they say. But I can't complain with 2 firsts and a third, but, yeah. So, the deck I played SS4 Goku and Vegeta, also just commonly called as Gogeta. I personally think that this and Sin are the 2 best decks in the game. However, I think Sin's personally easier to play, whereas Gogeta is a little bit harder. I wouldn't say like crazy difference, but I reckon if you can play this deck to the highest level, which I still don't think anyone has, not even like myself, I think this deck at the highest level should be, like, in theory, the best deck in the game. So I gave it my shot, and I think it's pretty good. So we'll go over what it all does. So it's got the best part about this leader is this first line of text here, the permanent skill. You're able to combo mono red Saiyan cards in rest mode. That's just kind of broken, right? Like, no other deck in the game is able to combo cards in rest mode, except for, like, there's very niche ones, right?
Yeah.
Such as, like, Skillless or Old U7. So that alone's already broken. And then on the front side, we've got this auto where once per turn, when you combo any card, right, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add a red Saiyan to your hand, or a unison with a specified cost of 2. And then bottom deck the other 2 cards. That's already just broken as well. Like, you're able to search your deck for your SCR. That's kind of silly, right? And then the awaken ability, whereas you can either awaken when you're at 4 life or less, or the more broken part is that if you have a Goku GT and a Vegeta GT in your Z energy, and you have 2 or more energy, you're able to awaken and then go down to 6. That's kind of absurd, right? So all these skills alone are already really good. So let's go have a look at the back here. Permanent, again, we still have the ability to combo cards in rest mode. The second permanent skill here, which these 2 kind of go in tandem. I'll go actually over the auto first, where once per turn, when you union fuse, your leader becomes a Gogeta GT. This is very relevant because the Gogeta GT card actually but is immune to every other skill besides Gogeta GT cards, where this is not normally a Gogeta GT cards. I'll go over interaction when we talk about the card later on. And then the permanent skill here says that our Gogeta GT cards are able to attack cards in active mode, and when we do attack battle cards, our opponent skips their defensive step. So, for the, pretty much, this is important for when you Z-Awaken, we'll go over that a bit later. Then the other order is, when you attack, you get to draw a card, and then you also get to play a mono red Saiyan with an energy cost of 1 from your hand for free in rest mode. Everyone's talking about how broken free play Broly Crown is, and they should be. It's kind of absurd. The fact that you're able to constantly look at your opponent's hand for no energy investment is kind of silly. But, that's what the leader does, so let's talk about the deck. I think my deck varies a little bit from other decks. I'll give the shout-outs that are due when we get to the bit, but I think that the reason why I think this deck is so good, especially in Best of 1 pre-side, the deck is so customizable to counteract pretty much any deck in the game, and also insanely consistent. So we'll talk about our 2 1-drops, quote-unquote, so our Goku and Vegeta's here. These both have the exact same effect, besides one's a Goku and the other one's a Vegeta, but they cost 1 in your hand as long as your leader is, the Goku Vegeta leader. When you play them, you switch them to rest mode and draw a card, and then auto, when you combo them off, you get to draw another card, right? These cards essentially make your leader's backside a draw 3 pitch 1 leader, which is kind of absurd, and also 20k base, because you literally free play this, draw a card from playing it, combo it off, draw another card, and get a free Z energy, which, kind of nutty. Next cards we have in the deck are quote-unquote rival cards. We have the Vegeta and the Goku. Once again, essentially the exact same card. The difference being that the Goku has double strike and the Vegeta has critical. And what they do, when you have the opposite character in play, so if you have in your combo area, so if you combo in a Goku, you can play the Vegeta for 1 red, and if you combo in a Vegeta, you can play the Goku for 1 red. So this is kind of relevant for the Vegeta, because the Vegeta has an ability when you play him, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and negate 15,000 power for the turn, I believe, which you can do on your opponent's turn, right? So if they're ever swinging for a 15k, such as what I like to do in the red matchups, if they do that first swing with the Vegeta, I won't negate it. I'll kind of just combo a Goku and rival him out and kill it. Feels really nice. And the Goku, instead of doing any kind of stuff like that, he just draws a card, which again, really good. Once again, do it on your opponent's turn. And they both have a auto. When you combo them off the board and you pay 1 red, it gives the respective card 5,000 combo power, and if it's the Goku, it gives your leader double strike, and if it's the Vegeta, it gives your leader critical. You're able just to apply so much pressure for these cards, and as I was saying before, like normally, removal is such a big thing in this game, so just being able to attack, do the 20k critical, swing with your leader, combo it off, gain a bonus effect, or just simply 5k power, and the card just gets tucked away into his energy. Insanely nice, insanely nice. Next bunch of cards we're running 4 of this Vegeta, 2 of this Goku, 1 of Unbreakable Spirit. The reason why for my ratios on this, so what this Vegeta does, for limit 1, you just discard this card from your hand and search for any Goku GT card with an energy cost of 4 and 20k power from your deck. This is literally searching your entire deck, right? It's such a toolbox card, that's why I'm running it at 4. Next we have this Son Goku, who's essentially a Senzu Bean, only when you're at 4 life or less, so that's why I've decided to bump it down to 2. I used to run these at a 3-3 split, but there's kind of like no point, right? Like Vegeta's always live, where my deck, I built it to stay at high life total, so I actually, some games I literally just can't resolve this card, because my life is never getting below 6. Or never getting below 4, sorry. But it is a Senzu Bean effect where you have limit 1. And lastly, Unbreakable Spirit Son Goku. I was running this at 2. I really wanted to run it at 2, but this card's only really good in the first 1 or 2 turns of the game. The rest of that, it's a you're probably going to charge it or use it as a fusion target. But what it does, you just combo it off and get the draw card. But in conjunction with your leader, sorry. So let's just say now you're going first, right? You have no 1-drops to play. Alright, cool. I pitch this Vegeta. I search my entire deck for a 20k Goku. I'll just choose this one, you know? And then when your opponent attacks you on the following turn, cool. I combo this. I draw a card. I use my leader top 3. Add another card to my hand. Just such insane synergy. And on top of that as well, this Vegeta can search for any of the other Gokus we saw. A common play I'll do, I want to open this card plus my Unison in my hand, and it's essentially just a wrap, you know? I add the 20k Goku, and I'm able to apply so much pressure. For those of you who don't know, I am main boarding the Scion Unison, which I'll go into a bit more in depth once we get to that. But it's just kind of silly, right? Next, the last couple of cards to talk about is my SER choice plus our bomb of the deck. So the bomb of the deck is this Gogeta, of course, SS4 Gogeta. More or less, your opponent can't play the game when you play him. You get to kill all your opponent's cards on the turn, draw a card, and your opponent either has to use 2 super combos or pitch 5 cards from the hand to stop this attack. But it dies at the end of the turn, so it is what it is. But yeah, this is why everyone's scared of this deck, right? The fact they're able to clear everything and whatnot is quite silly constantly, and also on the following turn it can defend your life. Very powerful card. So the interaction I want to quickly talk about with the Z leader and the leader is that, so the ability to attack active mode cards isn't actually on the Gogeta, it's on the leader, right? Yeah. So that's an important thing you have to know.
A lot of people didn't know that, including myself, and I think basically everyone that you've told.
Yeah, I pretty much explained this interaction at PAX. So let's say everyone knows you can Z Awaken, right? That's great, right? But once you the point of the combo, you do use Z Awaken so you don't lose this card during your charge phase, right? But on the following turn, because now the Gogeta GT permanent, right? You're only affected by Gogeta GT skills. Well, SS4 isn't a Gogeta GT card anymore, right? It's just a Goku and Vegeta card, so it actually doesn't get the permanent to attack active mode cards. So if I know a lot of people don't know the ruling, and obviously like some people might not watch this or might just not simply know, but the way you can really punish the following turn, if they decide to swing into, let's just say, a 30k power card, you can out combo it defensively and be like, oh, I don't attack anymore, I didn't KO anything, right? But a lot of people don't know that, which it actually comes up a lot. You're kind of like punishing people for their lack of information, right? Which is kind of weird to say, but it's kind of like, you know, how you win the game a lot of the time, right? And then lastly, my SER of choice is this SS4 Vegeta. Now, I actually bounced back a lot of fourth on using this SER or Vegeta SER, and the reason why I ultimately went on this, so the problem with Vegeta is that, this sounds so dumb, but the problem with Vegeta is that it costs energy, funnily enough, right? I still think Vegeta's an insanely powerful card, but for 4 energy, we'd much rather be playing our SS4 Gogeta, right? So, and the thing is that both of Gogeta and SS4 lose to the exact same cards, mainly like being Dirty Burst, Vegeta Using Fury, stuff like that. So the difference here is like, you know, you overwhelm this for free. I usually open this as my opening play on my turn 4. I'll overwhelm this. My opponent has to respond then and there. Do you have the Dirty Burst? Do you not? If you don't have Dirty Burst in the blue matchup, I look at your hand and confirm, well, 100% confirm. Oh, he doesn't? Cool. My Gogeta's safe to play and go ahead with it. If they do, that's fine. I give my leader 10,000 power. I still snipe a card out of your hand. I can do the maths. I can count, right? You know, you've got 10 cards in hand. 4 of them are dead. 6 of them are 5Ks. All right, cool. I rip one of the 5Ks, all right? So you get full hand knowledge, and then you know what you do if they Dirty Burst? You just spam some Vegetas and kill them anyway. way, right? Like, this card's just silly. And then on top of that, it gives your leader 10k power until the end of their turn. Double beam, pretty good. I got very lucky to pull this card, and it's overperformed when I've used it. The fact that you can search it off your leader, see your opponent's hand in IMAX 4K. It's really powerful. It's more of the flexibility. You're either like this card makes it so it's safe to play your 8-drop, or if it isn't safe to play the 8-drop, you can go another line of play, which I think is very relevant.
Good card is good card.
And now we'll go over the actual 1-drops in my deck, funnily enough. So we've got 3 of the Son Goku and 4 Broly Crown. What this Son Goku does when you play, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add a mono red Saiyan with an energy cost of... I think it's just a red Saiyan. Yeah, it's just a red Saiyan with an energy cost of 4 or less to your hand. Really powerful. Literally searches like every Goku and Vegeta target you have plus Broly Crown. And the other relevant thing about it as well is it's a Goku target that meets the requirement for your Z energy, which is huge. Being able to guarantee the awaken's quite nice. And then Broly Crown. I think you have to run Broly Crown this deck as a 4. The fact that it's a free play Broly Crown from your leader, I don't think in other decks you need to run it as a confirmed 4, but because this is with the interaction with your leader to play it for free, it's just too broken. Like, a lot of the times, like, some decks just leave 2 up because they don't have anything to do, right, and they want to be a bit defensive. You can just play this for 1 and just punish them for just trying to be a bit more defensive, right? Like, Broly Crown makes it so hard for your opponent to play the game because you constantly have full hand information. Like, you will always know your opponent's hand where they can't be, like, certain if you have this or that.
I think you versed a fair bit of Gamma over this weekend as well.
I versed a lot of Gamma, and Broly Crown was clutch,
MVP.
Yeah, again, kind of the same as Vegeta, right? Where I can play my Broly, I can swing my leader and free play my Broly Crown, and then they have to kind of like, if they have 2 energy up, they either have to dirty burst me now to deny me looking at their hand, or they have to let me look at their hand, right? So this is another way to make it so it's safe for me to play my Gogeta 8-drop.
For sure.
And the last, some more of the utility cards we have in the deck. We have 3 Violent Rays. This is the only like extra card negator on the deck. I think it's the only one you need. I'm usually, again, this deck's designed to play at 6 life, so I might as well, use the only one I can realistically use at 6 life that costs 1, right? I don't want to pay 1 for Imposing Presence. I can't even use Testing the Opposition if I'm at 6, so Violent Rays pretty much answers every deck in the game. Card's broken. Shout out to Benny for 2 Gold Mites. I was running this as the red-black Gogeta. I didn't actually know this card existed until Benny... I didn't know it existed. I didn't think about it, though.
We're just thinking of Demigra, I believe. At that time.
Yeah, what this card does is that when you combo it off, if you have 3 or less energy, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 30k power, and you just instantly KO it. This is more or less just for Sin. Such a powerful card. For free, you get to remove something very good, and usually we will be able to see it with the amount of draw power we have. Unfortunately, it didn't come up on my weekend, but I will definitely continue to keep this in the main because I'm running 52 cards, and if it's not relevant in the matchup, I can just side it out. All good. Then 1 Chomper. You know how you can win games? You just put something with that Chomper behind, and I usually close it out. Chomper is kind of like iffy in this deck because already so many of the cards have inbuilt double strike or triple strike, whatever, right? But when it comes out, it's really powerful. Like, one thing I like to do as well with the crit Vegeta, being able to make a double strike, 30k double strike crit, and your opponent has to take that. A lot of the times you're winning that game. It's kind of the same concept as the Sin Shenron, right? You swing in like 30k triple strike critical. If your opponent's taking that hit, they're probably losing the game. So we're kind of doing the same thing in our deck, right?
And also in teams, John substituted this out for
Supreme card. This is Supreme card in
Yep.
teams, just because we couldn't have overlapping cards in our deck.
Yep.
And then my super combo choice is 4 Beerus again. I was actually considering there is a Sparking 5 Red Broly. I was considering that for the longest time. You can ask anyone at locals. I had like a mental breakdown over picking my super combo in this deck because there's too many options. Like if you're in a Slugfest, Raditz is better. If you're High Life, this is better. But this is unsearchable, right? So why not play a Sane Sparking? It was a nightmare figuring this out, But Beerus is ultimately the card that I decided to go with. It's always live from turn 1. If you hit another Beerus, it's actually a 15k combo, which is really relevant. And on top of that as well, it's mainly the fact that it's always live and it can be a 15k combo. I would have used the Sparking 5 Broly, but this deck doesn't get Sparking a lot of the time. Most of your time, your cards are either in your usually in your Z energy. So
No, this card's SPR. We play this.
Funnily enough, I didn't. Everyone always sees that I have like really full decks at locals. It just literally, I buy a lot of I love the Vegeta set 2 leader, right? So if there's a card that works in that deck, I'll usually buy an SPR. And Beerus is a card I bought for that deck, and it just turns out it's a good card.
It's gone up a lot now. Stonks.
I got it while it was cheap.
Yep.
And then lastly, the Unison card we're running is Scion. I think this is first of all, right, it's best of 1 pre-side. So this is actually this package I side out a lot. I usually side this out every game if it's not relevant, right?
Yeah.
But for essentially what it does, what Scion does for 1 energy, you get to play it as a 10k swing. Then for -1, you get to play 2 of these Vegetas from your deck or drop area, and then you're able to swing with that as well. Why is that broken in this deck? Why am I playing this over my main board, even though it's supposed to on pre-side, over the red specified 2 unison, right? Firstly, in the red mirror match, it's actually kind of bad to play the unison if you're going second. This package is really good going second, right? And it's also just broken in this deck. So we're talking about before we can combo cards in rest mode. So generally what my ideal turn 2 play is, or turn 1 play, if I'm going second, I summon this guy, I swing, 10k into lead, use the -1, play 2 of these Vegetas, swing, that's another 10k swing. Swing again, okay, I combo up to 15k and it triggers my leader. Alright, awesome, I get a 15k swing, get a Z energy as well, and then I swing with my leader, I combo another 15k swing. So this one card alone, this one card is pressuring 4 damage on my opponent on turn 1. 2 10k swings and 2 15k swings. And there's ways you can make it even more broken, right? So as I was saying before, this is my favorite opening hand in the game. You wanna know why? This Vegeta lets me search this Goku. And it also allows me to confirm how many of these skillless targets I have in my deck. I only run 2. So I want to make sure I do have 2 in my deck. I don't want. I might have 1 in my.
You run 4.
Yeah, I run 4. So I run 4. I might have 1 in my hand, a couple in my life. So you might. Sometimes it's for that information, right? To make sure this is an optimal play to make.
Yeah.
And then we've got 2 energy. We play this for 1. We swing. We play 2 of these. Swing with this combo, and then when we combo, go Vegeta GT. Play this Goku for 1. Swing again, combo it off with the leader swing. So instantly, just with these 2 cards, it allows us to have our awaken, and we're pressuring on turn 2 6 damage, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, if people, I think my ultimate downfall of why I lost to Nooks is because Nooks actually knew I was running this, and what he ended up doing on my turn 2, he actually left 1 energy open to use Omen of Awakening to hit both my skillless cards, so it denied me using my leader to draw more cards, and it also denied me going up into this play optimally, right? So yeah, it was more of the fact that Nooks actually already knew what my deck was about, and he just capitalized and punished me on that. But I still think that you should be running these 8 cards in between main or side.
Yeah.
It's just that good.
It is what it is. Basically, for those that don't know, PAX was pretty much full of our local mates. So in the top tables, it was all of us there. Like basically, top 6 was everyone from our locals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was so people kind of like knew what I was playing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but Nooks played it really well regardless. So
we're always happy for our friends when they win as well.
Yes. So we'll quickly go over my Z deck. So we're talking about the card everyone loves, the 100k Z. 100k Z leader. This is a you use this in conjunction with your 8-drop to win the game, or use it to buy another turn. It's very situational. Like usually when the Z leader is played, it's either you're winning the game or you're losing the game. There's no in between. You don't just play it for the sake of playing it, right? It's a very situational card, but it's a very awesome card. Being able to kind of buy you another turn, if possible, and mainly keeping the 8-drop still alive, very good. Then for the main card of the Z deck, the SSB Rush Vegeta, this card's just broken, right? If this card didn't exist, people wouldn't be complaining how broken red is. The fact that red can always play this card constantly and always just destroy your board, etc., etc. This is okay. It's not the only reason why red's broken. Red has so much stuff going for it right now, but this card's just silly. Dual attacker, more or less, gets 2 Z energy for free, kills 2 things, 15k power, removes 2 markers from a weaker unison, right? Gains double strike and barrier. This card does so much for 2 Z energy and 2 regular energy. It's so easy to facilitate in this deck. And the last 2 Z cards, we've got 1 Defender of Life and 1 Black Vegeta. This was 2 Defender of Life in teams, and also up until the final day, but on the last day I said, I need to kind of switch over. This card I only rarely play 2 Defender of Life, but this Vegeta is always so good. So what does the Defender of Life do? You essentially just play it, and if your opponent has more than 4 life, you deal the damage to them. If your opponent's on 4 life, you play this, they're on 3, that's suddenly kill range for Gogeta, so it sets up Gogeta real nicely. And it also gains barrier, so they can't really do anything about it as well. Deflect, double strike, barrier, too good. And then the Vegeta as well. Oh, the rest of the effects are for Pan, by the way, if you don't know, for the deck it was intended for. And then what Vegeta does, for 1 energy, you get to bottom deck 1 card from your hand, and then you get to draw a card and take up to 1 life. This card's really good. It fixes your hand, even though we draw a lot of cards, but drawing more cards is always nice. One thing that came up really clutch, it was just good for eating up another energy, so I couldn't be victim of a Broly Crown in red mirror matches. And on top of that as well, making us go from 5 to 4 is also really good. It gives us access to our Z leader, because you can only play the Z leader when you're at 4 life or less.
Definitely the best Z card.
Definitely the best Z card.
Vegeta's too versatile. It's important in a lot of important strategies, even like SS3, Trunks Vegeta. Just having token negates life is huge, and being at the life threshold that you want to be at.
Exactly. It's such just too powerful to like not run. I think there's literally no reason to not run it in your Z deck unless you're like Red Sin where they can physically not run it. Alright, so now we're up to the sideboard, right? So this is the bit where at the start I said, yeah, your deck is insanely customizable. It's because you pre-side out your Unison package almost every game. I'm going to kind of show off like my entire sideboard in the one hit because it's kind of like a package in and out kind of thing. So every time we side in, right? Every time we are not versing Red Mirror or a matchup where the skillless engine isn't important, these 5 cards are coming in. The Gogeta Unison and King Piccolo, they're kind of a done deal package. And then depending on what matchup we're versing, the other cards accordingly come in. So we do have the extra copy of Vegeta Resolve Renewed. Sometimes I'll take out a different card, for example, Champa or a Golmite for this. A lot of the times I'll be taking out 2 Golmites for a Vegeta and maybe a Yamcha or a Kaioken Goku. In matchups where Yamcha is important, I only need to side out the skillless packet, the Saiyan package. It's Yamcha plus these 5 cards. If it's something else, like let's just say Trunks Cheetah, it's usually these 8 cards. Sometimes I don't even take out this package against Trunks Cheetah. Sometimes I'll just put these cards in. It's like there's so many ways you can customize this deck just from simply having this sideboard Unison flex open, right? And also it keeps your opponent guessing because a lot of the time it's like, oh, in best of 3, for example, it's like, oh, okay, I just got destroyed like with the Saiyan engine. Was it you got to play it again? Suddenly you're playing a different Unison. They have to play the game differently. So I think this is like the correct way to kind of side with Gogeta. Obviously, the only downside about essentially running the Unison engine, the Saiyan engine in the main is the fact that it kind of eats up 8 sideboard slots, if that makes sense. So technically, my sideboard is only 7 cards, if that makes sense. Which sometimes it can be annoying, but again, you're meant to just kind of play max ratios of cards to deal with certain decks. And, you have to, if you're siding in Unisons, you have to play these 4 and you have to play New Rule because New Rule is just too good. And, I think that's pretty much it. I've gone over, I think, everything that makes this deck kind of broken, right? I think, again, I do personally think that this is the most broken deck in the game. Even better than Sin. I just think that Sin's doing better is because it's just way easier to play. I don't think a player has gone to an event and has played the deck at the highest level you can possibly play it. And like I said before, I don't think I've done that either. So I'll be very curious to see when like a truly like gifted player actually plays this deck, and then people will actually want to ban, like instantly. I think people still want to ban now, but it can be even worse, But that's pretty much it, I guess.
Alrighty, any final shout outs you would like to give before we close it off?
I want to give a shout out to the boys, Benny and Peter, for doing work. Mainly Peter. He actually did work in teams. Benny was kind of just our cheer squad at the event.
I was. That's what I do best,
Yeah. Shout out to Benny again and Kevin and Nick because we were at PAX working there all 3 days in a row. We grinded it out. We were doing the hustle. It was good. I played so much One Piece on the weekend. I'm so excited.
And we love grabbing coffee. I don't even know how many coffee runs we did.
I had too many coffees. Yeah. And shout out, big congrats to Nooks. He was the one who beat me in the 3rd day of the regional. He played it really well. He capitalized and one up me, which hurts my feelings, but it is what it is.
His deck profile will be on the channel as well.
Will be on the profile. You know what they say? Bigger number, better person. So he's a better player. So that's pretty much it. That's all. Oh, also shout out to Tak for always doing really good events. I think that's I don't have anything else to say.
Until next time, then. Yes.
I guess. Subscribe.
Subscribe if you haven't. Yeah. Drop a like. Comment. Do all the good stuff, and then we're signing out. Peace.